The New York Islanders come up with their best effort of the season and beat the Vancouver Canucks. We'll tell you what was different about this game, and we'll preview Saturday afternoon's game against the Kraken. All that and more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You could start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. If you win your first $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Wow, what an effort, I have to say. The New York Islanders played their best game of the season in Vancouver and skated away with a 5-2 win over the Canucks. And you know, this game was just different. This was the Islanders really playing their best hockey that we've seen all season. And, you know, every line at least was on the board in some way, shape, or form. They kind of played heady hockey. They didn't get distracted when things didn't go their way. They got 2 goals from defensemen. It was almost like everything that could have gone right went right. And, you know, how many Islanders in this game scored their first goal of the season? Scott Mayfield, his first. Noah Dobson, his first. Pierre Engvall, his first. That's 3 of the 5 goals coming from, you know, guys who got off the schneid in this game. And it's not just the goals themselves, it's the way they got them. 2 guys I have to point out who are unquestionably enjoying some of their best games lately. Anders Lee, a goal and an assist. And I have to say, the assist was one of the prettiest that we're going to see in quite some time. A beautiful backhand pass to J.G. Pageau on the power play, no less, to get the Islanders to tie the game. And then, you know, his goal also, you go to the net. And Bo Horvat going coast to coast and then passing to Lee, who pokes it home. It is so good to see this team do the little things that we always complain they don't do enough of in this game. And, you know, it was everything from giving up the first goal on the first shot, just 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. And it was kind of a soft goal, and you're like, oh boy, Varley, here we go again. No. The Islanders shut them down after that for the rest of the first 2 periods. The Islanders allowed a grand total of 5 more shots. After 40 minutes, Vancouver at home had only 6 shots on goal. That is unheard of. And yeah, they actually got 20 shots on goal on Varley in the 3rd period, but only 1 of them goes in. Varley, after that shaky start, didn't let it get to him. And the Islanders end up playing really well. Defensively, played well. Kept the puck out of their zone for most of the first 40 minutes. And then you have the guys doing the little things. Scott Mayfield, he scores by putting a puck on the net, something that you always want to see. And it deflected, okay? It bounced off of a Vancouver player, but you know what? When you shoot the puck, good things can happen, and that's what happens on the Mayfield goal. Engvall goes to the net and gets a goal on a rebound. And he also had an opportunity on a breakaway in this game. Of course, a penalty behind the play kind of nullified it, but Engvall playing some of his best hockey, since he was recalled. And while I am not a fan of Engvall's contract, and I am not a fan of the way he tends to play a lot of the time, him playing the way he did last night in Vancouver, if we can get that Pierre Engvall for the rest of the season, that would be a solid addition to the New York Islanders lineup. And I was just happy to see it. Noah Dobson getting an empty net goal. Yeah, okay, empty netter. You got to say, oh boy, what? No big deal, right? Just an empty netter. He's off the schneid. And Dauber now can at least say, hey, you know what? It's not hanging over my head that I haven't scored all year, and now I can go out and just do what I do and do it well. I can play my game without this lack of a goal hanging over my head. So again, just all these little things. They were better in their own zone. They were better transitioning out of their own zone. The things that this team just doesn't tend to do. How many power plays did Vancouver have in this game, in case you're wondering? Well, in this game, the Islanders were 1 for 5 on the power play. The Canucks at home, 0 for 1. And that was the Mayfield penalty in the third period after the game was out of reach. So just really good to see, again, that kind of performance by the New York Islanders that, they stayed out of the box. They killed the only power play that they allowed. They played shutdown hockey for 40 minutes. They took advantage of their opportunities. They went to the net. Everydayers, you'll remember, this is what I said that this team had to do, especially with, missing Anthony Duclair, missing Matthew Barzal, missing Adam Pelech, missing Alexander Romanov and Mike Riley. When you're this shorthanded, you got to go back to basics. And that's exactly what this team did. And it was so good to see. And hey, I'll even take it a step further. Matt Martin, okay? Matt Martin getting the job done, dropping the gloves with Vincent Desharnais when Desharnais demanded a fight. And I wasn't thrilled. At that point, I believe the score was 3-1. Desharnais clearly saying, hey, I want to get my team inspired. Matt Martin didn't want to drop the gloves, but eventually he did. And you know what? He stuck up for his team and did what he had to do under the circumstances. And I think he won the fight as well. So, Matt Martin only out there for 6 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time, but he made them count. And, that was a definite positive right there. And hey, how about Grant Hutton? 13 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time. Not a lot, okay? But a +3 and 2 assists in this game for Grant Hutton. And yeah, one of them was on the empty net goal, but that's not the point. The point is that he made the most of his ice time. He was solid in his own zone. And like most of the Islanders, he just got the job done. The Islanders kept it simple and executed. And that is what a shorthanded team, like where the Islanders are right now, needs to do. And, here we are on this 5-game road trip. And we're only a couple of games in right? But the Islanders have already 3 points in 2 games. They need 2 more points to break even on the road trip. And now you've got Seattle, Calgary, and Detroit left on this road trip. I'm telling you, this is doable. And you just like to see the way this team is approaching things. And guys who, just haven't been playing great over the course of the year or coming into the year, kind of stepping up their games. And that, the Anders Lees, the JG Pageaus, now it's Engvall. These guys stepping up and doing the job is so heartwarming and encouraging to see. And the Islanders deserved the 2 points for sure. All right, we have got a lot more to discuss on today's show. We will have our hero and go to the game and a couple of other key takeaways as well. We'll also preview Saturday afternoon's game, 4 o'clock Eastern time start later on in the show. And for our Islanders birthday of the day, a Rochester, New York native who was with the Islanders in the mid to late 2000 teens. Let's see if you can guess who this player was. And, oh, yeah, he's still active in the KHL. So let's see if you can guess who that is. We've got all that and a lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. It has to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for just $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process was the time I spent on hold waiting to break up with my old provider. So go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. There you'll see that right now all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You could use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wire plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. $45 upfront payment required. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 GB on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Today's episode is also brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NHL and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. Minimum purchase may apply. So, hero and GOAT of the game. And I have to think about this. This, for a change, the hero of the game and the GOAT of the game are tough. The GOAT of the game is tough because I don't think there was anybody in particular who was so bad in this game. Everybody seemed to contribute in some way, shape, or form. Oh, and I have to mention, by the way, before I get to the hero and go to the game, that open ice hit by Maxim Tsyplakov in this game, absolutely a thing of beauty. If you haven't seen it, you could find it on social media. But wow, oh wow, was that a beauty? It was a clean hit, open ice, physical. It was exactly what you want from, a player in that situation. And again, it was clean. So you just love to see that kind of a play. And okay, so hero and GOAT of the game. I'm going to start with the GOAT. Good Lord. I mean, it's very, very hard to come up with one. I guess, I can't name anybody who was the GOAT of the game. I could think of some players who were a little less productive than others, but, the fourth line was -1, but overall, I really can't specify one player who was the GOAT of the game. And as for the hero of the game, I'm going to go with Anders Lee. That beautiful assist, a really good goal. He is playing some of his best hockey. He had 3 shots on goal, 1 hit, and played 18 minutes and 13 seconds. And, I could go with the 2 assists of Bo Horvat. I could go with Pierre Engvall for his solid play, 5 shots on goal that led the team. I can talk about Matt Martin, who had the fight and 3 hits in just 6 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time. Ryan Polak with 4 block shots. I mean, Semyon Varlamov, 24 saves in this game, including 19 saves in the third period alone. The Islanders did not blow their lead. They entered that third period basically clinging to this 3-1 lead, and they didn't let up. And that was, again, a beautiful thing if you are the New York Islanders. So, again, just it's what you wanted to see from this team. And yeah, great to see the Islanders playing this kind of a game and just playing smart, disciplined hockey. Because the frustrating thing about this team is that they don't always play disciplined hockey. And to see them do it, this is what they're capable of. And if they can do this more often than not, they're going to be in good shape. By the way, one transaction before the game, Mike Riley placed on injured reserve. Now, again, it's believed he suffered a concussion back on November 1st. All we know is upper body injury and that he's out indefinitely. So Mike Riley not on LTIR, but on IR. And then the Islanders, with that open roster spot, they recalled defenseman Travis Mitchell. He is 24 years old, undrafted free agent out of Cornell. And hopefully we will see Travis Mitchell at some point. Now, he was a scratch in this game, did not actually dress. But, Travis Mitchell, a native of South Lyon, Michigan, played 8 games this year for Bridgeport, 1 goal, 3 points, a -2. Last year after, he also with Bridgeport, a goal, 4 points, 36 penalty minutes in 34 games. He's 6'4", 206. So he's got some size. And welcome to the New York Islanders, Travis Mitchell. But, it is heartwarming to see this team keeping it simple, playing disciplined hockey, doing the little things, going to the net, shooting the puck, getting the puck out of their zone in a nice, orderly fashion. I mean, 6 shots on goal allowed through 40 minutes. Wow. Great to see. And that was after a shaky first, 3 or 4 minutes. After the Canucks scored in the first period, they didn't get another shot until very late in the period. So overall, a great performance. And you got to be pleased with the way the New York Islanders handled themselves in Vancouver. And hopefully they can continue to play smart, solid hockey as they continue this road trip. And you know what else? Note to Islander fans, even with all the injuries, this team is now above NHL 500, 7-6-4. So basically in 17 games, they've got 18 points. And, again, you just take the points, you bank them, and the Islanders in 5th place right now, behind Washington by 3 points, and the Rangers by 3 points, Carolina 4 points, and then they are right now 8 points behind the Devils. The Devils have played 3 extra games, while the Islanders have played 2 more games than Carolina, the Rangers, and Washington. All right, more to get to on today's show. We will preview Saturday's game against the Seattle Kraken. We'll also have our Islanders birthday of the day. All this and more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. And Islander fans, check out the odds for the Islanders. Can they continue to win? Check out their odds for Saturday's game in Seattle against the Kraken. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Become a fantasy hockey expert and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern time. So it's a matinee in Seattle. So it's a late afternoon game for the Islanders, or at least for Islander fans here on the East Coast. The Kraken right now, on a 3-game winning streak. They just defeated the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1 in their last game, which was also Thursday night. Solid goaltending performance by Joey Decord, but again, they only allowed 19 shots on goal in this game. And 3 in a row, so Seattle kind of finding themselves. They are 8-1, so they are right around where the Islanders are, right around 500, but on the upswing now. They beat Vegas, Columbus, and Chicago, all 3 of those games coming at home. So they're on a nice little homestand, and they have 3 more games at home. They face the Islanders, the Rangers, and Nashville. Right now, middle of the pack. They're a 500 team, and statistically, that's kind of where they belong. 16th in the league in goals scored, 14th in goals against. The power play, 18th. The penalty kill, 20th in the league. You can't get more average overall in those 4 categories than the Seattle Kraken. And Joey Daccord is the starting goalie. He is 6-3-1 with a 2.71 goals against average. The backup, Philip Grubauer, he's only 1-5 with a 3.27 goals against average and an 8.77 save percentage. So this team plays much better in front of Joey Daccord. We'll see whether or not Daccord gets the start again. Now, the Kraken, they have a day off before they face the Islanders, but they're facing the Rangers, so they have a back-to-back. You know that Philip Grubauer is going to play one of those games. We will see whether it's against the Islanders or the Rangers. I get the feeling we see Grubauer on Saturday afternoon. Jared McCann right now leading the team in goals with 8 and in points with 19. And he also is tied for the team lead with a pair of power play goals. Ex-Islander Jordan Eberle is second on the team with 6 goals and 11 points, followed by Brandon Montour with 4 goals and 11 points. And this is a team with some young and good talent. The top line, young Matty Beniers, slowly but surely developing into a really good player. He centers McCann and Jordan Eberle, the ex-Islander. Chandler Stevenson is the second-line center. Jaden Schwartz to his left. Oliver Bjorkstrand to his right. Shane Wright, Eli Tolvanen, and Andrei Burakovsky are the third line. And then Yanni Gourde centers Ty Carty and Brandon Tanev on the fourth line. Riker Evans and Adam Larson are the top defense pair. Brandon Montour and Jamie Oleksiak are the second pair, and Josh Mahura and Will Borgen are the third pair. Again, the goalies, Joey Daccord and Philip Grubauer. Vince Dunn is on IR, and they really do miss Vince Dunn. He is a key factor on the power play and on the offense overall for the Seattle Kraken. So here again, you got a team with some young, fast talent, and the Islanders will have to play a similar style to the way they played against Vancouver to try to slow them down and not allow them to enter the zone with speed and with time and space. Let's see if they can do it. You win this game, and you've got your 5 points on the road trip. Not that you want to let up and take your foot off the gas, but encouraging play so far for the Islanders. And, great to see this team right now having points in their last 5 games. Time now for our Islanders' birthday of the day. And Saturday will be the 32nd birthday of former Islanders winger Shane Prince, the Rochester native New York, a second-round pick of the Senators back in 2011, made his NHL debut with Ottawa in 2014-2015, traded to the Islanders midway through the 15-16 season, stuck with the team through the 17-18 season, and then headed to Switzerland, the KHL, playing now for Moscow Spartak in the KHL. Only 128 career NHL games, 12 goals, 38 points, 39 penalty minutes, 11 playoff games, 3 goals and an assist, all of those with the Islanders back in 2016. And we are going to look back at one of his better games as an Islander, and it was a playoff game, Game 1. Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. This is Game 1 in Tampa. Islanders on the road going with Thomas Greiss in goal, Ben Bishop, the goalie for the Lightning. And after the game was tied 1-1 in the first period, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Shane Prince scored from Ryan Strome and Brock Nelson at 17:28. That was his second of the playoffs. That made it 2-1 Islanders. Prince strikes again in the closing seconds of the first period at 19:57. Again, Strome and Nelson with the assists. The Islanders go on to beat the Lightning by a score of 5-3. Shane Prince, 2 goals. He was a +1. and he had 3 shots on goal in just 9 minutes and 50 seconds of ice time. Shane Prince is our Islanders' birthday of the day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Everydayers, we're back Monday. We will have our key takeaways from the game against Seattle, plus we will preview, well, we'll start to talk about Tuesday's game in Calgary, and we'll have, hopefully, maybe some positive developments on Alexander Romanov. Romanov, by the way, skating again, but still a non-contact jersey, so not so sure he'll even be ready for Saturday's game in Seattle. If you have something that you would like us to talk about on the show, a question, a comment, a topic of discussion, send us an email. LockedOnIslanders@gmail.com is the email address. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. And I have a question that I've kind of been sitting on for a couple of days, but I want to discuss it. I would love another few mailbag questions to add to that, and we'll get to it early next week. You can follow the show on X at Locked On Isles. You can follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR VS NYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all year long, and I'm live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So join me for some instant insight and analysis, and it's always great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and of course, let's go Islanders.